Let's bring in Louisiana Congressman and House Republican Whip Scalise. Steve Scalise, you have, if I'm not mistaken, you have some Spro caverns, depots down there in Louisiana, do you not?
Yeah, Larry, I sure do. And, you know, you go down to South Louisiana, especially near Port Fourchon, which is the hub of all the deep water drilling in the Gulf of Mexico. There's a lot of oil and gas activity, including the Loop facility, which is a little bit of the, to the west of that facility out in the Gulf, where you have the ability to tie into pipelines and bring in oil or send it out, which, by the way, under President Trump, we were exporting oil because we had such an abundance. What a difference a year and a half and a failed Biden policy on energy makes in our ability of what we're paying. I
mean, I'm just trying to advance this story. We're showing the oil price. It's up $4.50 today, actually, crude oil. 103.72, if I'm reading the chart right, with these old eyes. You know, this is after you had a temporary pop where oil prices dropped $6 or $7 on the announcement. But it never lasts. These are global oil prices. 18 billion barrels per day over 6 months versus 180 million. I mean, it's just political price fixing is the way I see it. And this is just one of many tragic mistakes on energy.
Yeah, and Larry, look, rating Spro is nothing more than a sugar high. You might get a couple of days, and then the price goes back up again. We've seen it before. This is the third time that President Biden has raided the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. It's supposed to be there for a national emergency. You get a hurricane that comes through and shuts down supply or something like that. It's not supposed to be used to mask bad, failed policies, which is what we're seeing under Joe Biden. The answer is to open up production in America. You want to lower prices, increase supply in America. Every other country out there, they're cartels. They want to limit supply. You know, when Biden was begging Putin just a few months ago to increase production, he didn't want to because he benefits from $100 a barrel oil. Why don't you take away leverage from all these dictators and produce energy here? It's by the way, it's great for jobs. It lowers carbon emissions globally. And you ultimately end up lowering the price of gasoline, which is a kick to the gut of hardworking families who are already struggling under all the other high prices from inflation with Joe Biden's massive spending here in Washington.
You know, Steve Scalise, I want to hook on to what you said with Putin. So you may have seen this, but the Bloomberg Economics, I don't often tout Bloomberg anything, but they wrote a good piece. And Putin may collect $321 billion windfall if oil and gas keeps flowing. And the money sentence here, Mr. Scalise, Russia will earn nearly $321 billion from energy exports this year, an increase of more than 1/3 from last year. In other words, they're exporting more than 1/3 more, making a lot of money, and in fact, their current account surplus, you know, exports less imports, will be substantially better this year. And I would also add, as you may know, the Russian ruble, which originally crashed, is now back up 40%. So we're doing something wrong. He's making big money. He's exporting more, 1/3 more energy, and the ruble is appreciating. Steve Scalise, something's wrong with this story.
Yeah, Larry, it's disgusting. When you think about this, Joe Biden, right before the buildup, right before Putin moved into Ukraine, you saw him building up, and yet America was still asking Putin to produce more. Between America and Europe, we were sending Putin $700 million a day in oil sales. It might be more now because the price is higher, even with some of these moves to try to stop taking in Russian oil. We haven't increased supply in America. We still have a demand. And so Putin was pocketing huge amounts of money, a huge windfall that Putin was getting to finance the war against Ukraine. Many of us were saying this back then, and yet Biden continued to double down and beg Putin to produce more oil, giving him more money. Why don't we stop begging dictators for oil? The answer is beneath our feet. It's right here in America. The cleanest producing oil in the world. You're going to have to get fossil fuels from somewhere. Even if you want to go buy an electric vehicle, great, go get it. Except you got to plug it into something, and it's not going to be a tree. It's going to be probably something that's fueled by natural gas, by coal, by nuclear power. You got to get the energy from somewhere. Stop making it harder for families in America to meet the already increasing costs from Biden's inflation. Make more energy in America.
Well, of course, I totally agree. But I think if we want to really help Zelensky, You know, Zelensky told our Fox News' Brett Baer in a great interview that Ukraine, they want to win. They don't want to lose 1 inch of sovereignty to Putin. Yep. But if we don't toughen our sanctions, both banking and energy, we're still helping Putin survive. I mean, not only should we want Ukraine to win, I think we should want Putin out of there as the Russian leader. Last thought, sir.
Right. Yeah, what's good for Zelensky in Ukraine is bad for Putin, and we should be helping Zelensky more. He still hasn't gotten the MiGs he's been asking for. Biden's still finding ways to say no, but yet Putin is still getting the things he wants. Again, stop helping Putin. Cut off Putin's supply, cut off all these other dictators' supply, and make more in America, and stop raiding Spro. They've raided almost half the Spro since Biden's been in office. It's not there to be a piggy bank to go tap into when Biden has failed policies. Fix the policy, and the price will go down.
Yes, sir. Steve Scalise, we thank you, sir. Appreciate it very much. Talk soon.
Great being with you, Larry.
All right.